This is Active Recall with another episode of Sketchnotes. This time I'll be going over a book instead of a podcast. I'll be talking about Barking Up the Wrong Tree, which is a book by Eric Barker, who also writes the Barking Up the Wrong Tree blog and newsletter. It is my favorite newsletter, not in the way that a principal says this is their favorite graduate class every year. This is actually the newsletter that I don't filter, as in, I subscribe to a bunch of newsletters, but I automatically mark them as read and then have them skip the inbox, and I'll browse through them once in a while. But Barking Up the Wrong Tree, I always look forward to it. Sunday morning it comes out, and love the articles there. So if you like that newsletter, if you're familiar with it, then you'll love the book. I'll be going over some concepts from the book. They're not the main ones or anything like that. It's just three concepts that came to mind when I was just thinking about putting this episode together. One of them is W.O.O.P. The other one is filtered and unfiltered leaders. And the last one is know thyself. So I'll start with W.O.O.P. It is a way to set a goal and get there and think of like the path to get there. And it can be used for long-term planning or short-term planning. I'll do an example of that. But what does it stand for? The W is wish, outcome, obstacle, plan, and that's W.O.O.P. So wish is whatever you want to get done at the end of the month or at the end of 24 hours. So let's say my wish is to make sure to track all the food that I'm eating for today. Going to, a longer outcome of trying to eat healthier. The outcome of that is where you think about how you would feel if you were wildly successful with your wish. In this case, I would feel accomplished at the end of the day, knowing that I ate healthy and that it's going towards that bigger goal. Obstacle is visualizing the things that will stand in your way toward achieving that goal. In my case, I'm trying to track the food. I know sometimes the app can be a little tedious to use, trying to find everything. How can I solve that? I'll have a plan for that. So with your plan, you want to think about your obstacle. So if you hit your obstacle, your plan is the then part of that. So if I am feeling lazy or like thinking it's tedious to add food to the app, then I'll just I'll remind myself of the higher level goal, and that should provide, a small burst of motivation to take the 10 seconds it probably takes to find the food and add it. The second idea from the book, filtered and unfiltered leaders. So what are these? Some people follow the rules, they get straight A's. These are your squares, and these are also your filtered leaders. It's not a bad thing. A lot of people are able to climb the corporate ladder, have success. This is definitely like success for a lot of people, and something I learned from the book is just thinking about the different metrics that you have for success. So you can rise up the ranks, get straight A's, finish college, and live a good life being a filtered leader and following those steps. What you won't do a lot of times is change the world, and it's hard to change the world. People set out to do this and they think that, making an app will change the world and things like that, but it's a handful of people actually, change the world, put that dent in the universe. And the people that do are usually eccentric types. They aren't the straight A students, and they don't change the world by working at the same company for decades, and then getting to like upper management. So how do they change the world? They don't get straight A's a lot of times because they find the other classes distracting, and it distracts them from their obsessions. So they are able to climb a ladder, but not the corporate ladder. They're climbing a ladder to take a side window to success. What? Yeah, so these are your unfiltered people. And one issue with this, like reading through the book, is that they are often unhappy. So this gets back to thinking through the different types of metrics for success. So if happiness is one of your metrics, then being wildly obsessive with one topic and building your skill and ignoring your family and your friends and your significant other to get there is probably not the path to happiness. So, like I said, depending on your metric of success, filtered or unfiltered can be the right approach. The important thing is to know thyself, and this is a theme throughout the book. You just want to know what's important to you. If it really is to, get to Mars, then yeah, you might have to focus on be like wildly focused on something, on that one goal, and it might mean alienating a few people. And by knowing yourself, you'll be able to find your pond, which is important, playing to your strengths. You don't want to go to a pond that's, I don't know, full of sharks if you don't know how to punch sharks in the snout. Speaking of punching, there's a great chapter or a great story in the book about Sakuraba. So that's something that I definitely like from the book, is that the stories used aren't the same stories that you'll see in other books. He does talk about the marshmallow study, but he does it within a paragraph, knowing that other people have heard about it. What you won't find in other books is a story about Sakuraba. So he was a professional wrestler in Japan that turned to MMA and became one of the first people to defeat the Gracies after they went, I think it was like decades without losing a match. Or losing in like professional competition at all. So, and he had fun along the way. He also he mentions that a lot of leaders or people that changed the world had parents that died at an early age. So I wrote this note, fake your death, so that you can make your children more successful. You don't have to do that. That's probably not a good idea. What you should do is read Barking Up the Wrong Tree and teach those lessons to your kids. Check it out. It's a great book. If you don't want to check the book out, I definitely recommend checking the blog out. There's a lot of content there. And sign up for his newsletter. And thanks for checking this out. And sign up for mine. Hit subscribe.